Well, hey guys, it is so good to see you. Hey, I know we are living in some difficult times and there are a lot of restrictions on us right now and staying at home and changes and parents trying to school their kids from home, and life is hard right now. But I tell you what, I've heard so many stories. You guys are doing a great job. We're working hard at it, being flexible, kind of rolling with the punches and making the most of it, and you're doing a great job. I want to share with you today our plan. We've had several folks ask, like, when do we get to come back to church and when are we going to reopen the church? What's the plan? And our staff members and church board have been working really hard the last several weeks to come up with a plan, and today I want to share that with you. Now, as you know, one little disclaimer is that the best plans are written in pencil so that they can change as needed. And as we get new information every day and guidelines that seem to change every day, I'm not sure why, we're going to modify the plan as it is. But here's the current plan to share with you. And first I want to share and just encourage you and remind you, the church has not been closed. So when we talk about reopening the church, I don't want you to think that we just closed our doors and shut down thinking we can't do anything if we can't have Sunday worship services. The ministry of the church is to do so much more than just host really great worship services. Our vision is to help people live their full potential in Jesus. And we have seen so many people take steps forward to living their full potential in Jesus. Through online worship services, people have invited Jesus to come into their lives and take the lead in their lives like never before. We have record numbers of people who are starting our online Hydrate course, and they are learning to read their Bibles every day, not just during church time. And so people are taking steps forward, and we are praising God for that. The church has not been closed. We've just been operating a little differently than maybe we would prefer to. So as we work through the plan, I want you to know this. This has been two things that have guided our planning. And the first of that is that we have chosen, and our church board, even at the start of this, kind of made a commitment that we want to cooperate with government leaders, even if personally we disagree with them. That the best course of action for our church is to do everything we can to cooperate with church leaders. And you know what? As long as the bars and the nightclubs are forced to be closed, then churches also, we're not being targeted or singled out. The second, so in regard to that, so a few weeks ago, the governor of the state of Washington rolled out a 4-phase plan for reopening businesses and organizations in the state. With that plan, we looked at those 4 phases, and here's the question we asked. And this is the question I would encourage you to ask if you want to thrive during this time. Rather than look at that list and see what we can't do, or to focus on the restrictions, which is so natural for us, but we've had way too much bad news as it is. I think it's a better way, and I think people who thrive in the middle of difficult times, which is a good lesson to learn in our faith, is to focus on the opportunities and the greatest opportunity at each stage. And so with each of the phases, we asked ourselves, what is our greatest opportunity here to connect with each other, to serve each other, and to worship God? So let me share those with you. Here's the plan. Right now we're in phase 1. And what we see as the greatest opportunity in phase 1 is to engage in what we call DriveIn Connections. By the way, through all the phases, we're going to continue our online worship services. We've had some small groups who drive up to the church, park their car in circles, sit on their tailgates, maintaining proper social distancing, and we'll pray together, encourage each other, and have some time together. This weekend, we're going to host the first of what I hope are several drive-in family events where you and your family can engage in a fun and meaningful experience in your car with each other. Next week, we're going to host the first drive-in communion service. We invite you to come in, and in your car, we'll have a brief time with a song and prayer, a devotional thought, and then celebrate communion service. We encourage you to make the most of these drive-in connections opportunities. In phase 2, the restrictions are lifted a little bit more, and we can we're encouraged to start spending time together. In phase 2, we looked at it and we saw that there is the encouragement to gather in small groups of people for outdoor recreation. In fact, we thought, wow, it's a great way to connect the people in our small group. Well, the 5 of us guys, we can get together and we can go on a hike together. We can go on a walk together. We can ride our bikes together. And so what would happen if our church and our small groups and if we just gathered together in groups of 5 outside and enjoyed some outdoor recreation together? And in the middle of that hike or that bike ride, that walk, that run, the kayaking trip, whatever it may be, we stopped and we shared with each other. We prayed for each other, shared what we've been learning from the Lord during our hydrate times together, and made the most of those opportunities. And so we're going to call it Move Together. And we have several people who will host some gatherings. We'll even share some of those online so that you can sign up to be a part of one of those. And we just envision our small groups and our ministry teams and lots of people out in nature, enjoying the outside, moving together in groups of 5, taking advantage of the opportunity to connect with each other. During phase 2, I would encourage you to call or text another family and invite them over to your house to watch the Sunday worship service together. Another opportunity for additional connection. Then we move into phase 3. Now in phase 3, we have the opportunity there to gather for church again and to come together at the church building and to worship with worship services of 50 people. Now I know that provides a little bit of a challenge to allow all 700 of us who regularly worship here at Ridgefield to worship, and we're going to have different combinations of services in some different places, but we will have as many worship services as it takes for all of us to experience a worship service over the weekend, meeting with groups of 50. And when we get closer to phase 3, and when it's announced that we're going to enter into phase 3, just be watching Facebook and or make sure you're checking out your email every Friday, and we'll have all the information you need so that you can participate in one of our services. Beyond that though, what if your small group got together on a Sunday morning, or because it's online, you could get together on Sunday night or Tuesday night or Saturday afternoon and watch the service together with your small group, and then have your discussion and prayer time together and enjoy church as a small group. There are some benefits to worshiping in smaller gatherings that we just don't have in the larger gatherings. Make the most of it in phase 3. Finally, phase 4 will come and we'll be able to gather with larger groups of people. At that point, we'll start checking in kids to Kids Church and Ridge Kids Junior. We'll have full services, they'll return, and it'll feel more like normal. Now through all of this, we're going to maintain social distancing. Through all of this, we are going to offer compassion, and we're going to be really careful to honor the desires of other people. And if some people want more distance or less distance, we're going to honor each other in brotherly and sisterly love. And just be okay with each other and give lots of grace to each other. I know we can do that as a church family. Well, the final question some have asked is, what about high-risk populations? And if you look at the information, the recommendations from the CDC is that anyone who falls into the high-risk population, which would include anyone over the age of 65, or anyone regardless of age with any underlying medical condition, the recommendation is for high-risk populations to stay at home until phase 4. Now, I've talked to several of you who fall into that high-risk population. And you don't like that at all, and you're frustrated with that, and you're asking me, when we get to phase 3, can I come to church, or are you going to send me home? Well, we want you to know and to be aware of the CDC's recommendation. At the same time, knowing that recommendation, if you choose to engage, if you choose to participate, we are not going to send you home. We're not going to call you out. We're not going to shame you. We just want you to be informed and make sure that you know that that is the recommendation and that you are taking a significant risk. But we will welcome you and love you because you're part of our church family. So this is the plan. Like I said, we're going to continue to adapt and modify the plan as we go along. And I would encourage you, while it is natural to see that there's lots that we can't do, I would encourage you to keep pursuing Jesus, living for Jesus. Let's love each other. Let's show respect for each other. And let's make the most of every opportunity we have. And we are going to continue to help people live their full potential in Jesus. Enjoy your weekend, and I can't wait until I can see you again in person.